Kaine listened to the sound of crackling firewood and stared at the bleak object on her plate. She'd been pushing around the wooden dish for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned her courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made its home there, causing her face to twist with disgust. Grandma, I can't believe you want me to get a bug. The old woman threw some more wood under the cooking pot and snorted. It's no bug, you fool girl. It's a berry. Why the hell would I be feeding you bugs? You know, it sure looks like a bug, said Kaine. I think it's burnt or something because it smells terrible. With that, Kaine held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing as little as possible. Oh, yeah, that's terrible, all right. Why, you little brat, laughed the old woman. Look at that sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me, and that's a fact. 5 years had passed since the moment when Kaine's grandmother saved her life from the bullies. As is often the way with two stubborn people, the relationship had grown in fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals used to be somber affairs, are now filled with laughter, and hurled abuse in equal measures. Kaine could not remember a time when she'd been happier. As the years went by, Kaine started to shoulder more and more daily responsibilities. Her grandma's legs grew weaker by the day. She could no longer demand the chores she used to take for granted. And so this morning, found Kaine lacing up her work boots with a breakfast of burned berry rolling through her belly. Where are you going today? Asked Grandma suddenly. Kaine looked up in surprise. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. Well, I was going to go check the kelma trees and see if they were ripe. I thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, and I'm going to pick up some flagstones. So, I need to take the wheelbarrow. Flagstones? What the hell for? Kaine stared at grandmother, then held out an arm and swept it around their home, constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubble. The old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. Grandma, a dying cat could chew through this house. I'm going to build a stone wall so we have sun protection. The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin to the world. Goddamn, girl, if a bunch of thieves want to ransack this old place, let them come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway. I'm not worried about thieves, I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday. The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. Well, shoot. I don't know why you have to do it today. We can worry about it some other. Grandma, no. If I don't go to the kelma trees, we won't eat tonight, you know that. Confused expression passed in the old woman's face. For a moment, she was a small child lost at a carnival. Yes, she said after a bit. Yes, of course, you're right. I'm sorry, Kaine. Lately my mind is... She didn't finish the thought, instead of walking over to her nightstand and gently taking a wreath of lunar tears from the drawer. The fire petals had aged to a brilliant whiteness. And Kaine thought it was more beautiful now than the day she'd first received it. You're going to be a woman soon, Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. So it means less chatter about shades and building defensive walls, and more about how beautiful you become. Annoyed, Kaine reached up and removed the garland, but the look on her grandma's face stopped her hand. You're a beautiful thing, said the old woman, and there ain't another like you in all the world. I'm very proud of you. Okay, Grandma, that's enough goddamn compliments for one day. Shut your mouth on you. Where did that come from? Gee, I wonder. I'll teach you to sass me, girl, yelled Grandma. Suddenly, she lurched forward and grabbed Kaine by the ears, pulling around the room with a crazed grin on her face. Grandma! Yelled Kaine in a quaking voice. Grandma, stop it! What the hell? The old woman stared at her and blinked, and slowly held her wrinkling hands out as if it was the first time she'd ever seen them. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girl. Sometimes my mind just... Kaine thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she'd ever seen. Listen, she began. Maybe I should stay home after all. No, I won't have you stay here and keep an eye on an old codger like me. You get your fruit and your ball and whatnot, I'll be fine. When you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you. Kaine rolled her eyes and kissed her grandma on the forehead and made ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing in the walls of her own heart. Kaine could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around, she told herself. At the end, the temptation was too great. She spun on her heel for one last look and saw a small, bent woman standing in front of a ramshackle hut with a sad expression on her face. God, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kaine worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. What little fruit she could collect was tossed carelessly into the wheelbarrow. She only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day, cursing herself for the lack of focus. Kaine pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. As she crested the final hill, she saw it froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown food rolling to the bottom of the hill. Her gaze was transfixed by a thick black cloud that hovered just ahead, tracing its path with its finger. Kaine suddenly felt her stomach knock in on itself. Oh, gods no. Her grandmother's house is ablaze. The flames licking it up, as if trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma? Grandma! Kaine ran then, faster than she'd ever moved in her life. Once she tripped on a stone and went sprawling into the rocky ground, but she leapt to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from her own wounded hands and knees. She got closer and closer. Kaine's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. It's too dark. It's too dark. Not just fire. Can't be fire. Too much smoke. Gotta save her. Gotta save her. She burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt. Her worst suspicions confirmed. The smoke from the fire was mingled with the thick, inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet, and she bounced through the means of a large armored tail. Scales, horns, and claws sprouted from its body in a random chaotic pattern, giving it the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Kaine, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlwinds spinning around the yard. For a moment, the creature retreated into a shimmering, inky blackness, as if her mind was unable to comprehend that such a thing could actually exist. But then the smell hit her. A blend of rotted meat and excrement. The horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kaine responded with a scream of her own. "All right, you bastard!" She thought her scream echoed off the high cliffs around them. "It's you or me, let's go!" The shade eyed Kaine with an amused interest, then began to look from her house and back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it so gleefully wrought. With dread building in her heart, Kaine glanced towards the house. Through the smoke and flame, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. "Grandma!" At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. "She's alive, though, Kaine, alive!" Kaine's legs sprang to life as she ran across the yard toward the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth and let out a roar powerful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kaine tumbling through the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Stars danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs worked. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up now! As Kaine struggled to her feet, the shade stomped towards the house, pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach. She might as well have been pushing him out. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood into the air, and collapsed to the ground wherever she snapped. Kaine lurched to her feet, only to fall back to the earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire. One or both of them were sure. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken trail of dust and blood in her wake. But Grandma, hold on. Just a little longer. Her grandmother's face was turning blue, her eyes rolling back until only her legs were exposed. Kaine pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness, distance seeming to increase with every second it paused. She glanced between the two women, flicked out its tongue, shut mouth opening up at the corners. Short, panting breast belched from somewhere deep inside its core. Bastard. Laughing at us. She had no idea how such a mindless creature could experience emotion, but there could be no doubt the shade was taking joy in their suffering. Yeah, I see your plan. The shade moved its claws slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It's clearly keeping her alive, only to snuff out her life when Kaine was close enough to touch her. I'm gonna kill this bastard. Summoning all her strength, Kaine rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backwards, but she forced it from her mind to begin to hobble toward the monster. Pulling a small knife from the pouch at her waist, she leapt on the foot that pinned her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. "Give her back!" she screamed. "Give her back to me!" It was like stabbing a rock. After only a few swipes, the knife broke at the hilt with a dull snap. The shade panted laughter again, and raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air toward the young girl that was lashed to its foot. Kaine never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burning wreckage of the home. She landed on the ground with blood pouring from multiple wounds. A small, weak voice spoke up. Kaine! Kaine's vision blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough for her to make out her grandmother's hand, reaching out to her through the smoke. Good grandma? Kaine, you gotta run. You can't fess this one. Kaine grabbed her hands and held on with all her strength. Grandma, come on, we have to go. The woman coughed loudly. One of her hands, slick with blood, slipped from Kaine's grasp and thumped to the ground below. Grandma, no. I said run, goddammit. You have to live. You have to get through. The thought would stay forever unfinished before she could say another word. The shade's clawed foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof, and down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Blood oozed from the gaps in the creature's toes as the terrible putrid smell assaulted Kaine's nose once again. She stared at the foot, dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not possibly be real. And when the creature lifted its appendage, all that remained underneath was a twisted, unrecognizable mass of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Kaine blinked, trying to feel the hands which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of that embrace, the tremble of her fingers. But then the sensation drifted away on the breeze and it was gone. Memories flashed through Kaine's mind, one after the other, faster and faster, till they became a meaningless jangle of noise. Kaine screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed off the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward, black ichor pouring from its mouth and dissolving in the smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as it crept away towards its prey. Kaine's body slowly rose as if being controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles. Her head lolled dangerously to the side, and somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with a deep red fire. The creature, so confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step backwards, trying to discern if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. Kaine seized the moment. Laughing like a madwoman, she leapt into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook Kaine off like a fly, sending her crashing to the earth once more. Her chest rose and fell slowly, as if a great weight were resting on it. Moist sounds of pain echoed through her mind. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Is that blood? I think it is. I think I'm bleeding to death. No, can't die. Grandma told me to live. Deep inside Kaine's mind, something finally broke. The sound, pain, smoke, and flames. All of it faded away until all that remained was a single incantation repeated over and over again. Kill it. 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 Kill it now! As the spark that was Kaine's slowly began to flicker and die, she felt her desire to kill and her desire to live blended in one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer and longer and longer. Fuck, that was a lot of reading. I forgot about that.
The beast approaches.
Facts.
I know. How did it even survive these past 5 years?
I'm not gonna let this happen again. It dies today. My sword feels lighter.
It's not the blade, but the skill of the user. Strike it down.
Gently, weakly, softly, the shade sure that its tormentor was dead turned and stomped off toward the horizon, stopping along the way to bellow one final roar. Couldn't kill it. Shamed beyond imagination, kaine tried to turn her head to the side, but only succeeded in coughing up a huge gat of blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home and noticed a ragged stump of an arm resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's mine, she thought with a mad giggle. This is gonna make clapping a real bitch. Ha! Cried a sudden voice within the depths of her mind. Finally gonna die, are you? Well, you had it coming. Go to hell, Demo, she thought. The unseen assailant. Go to hell before I pluck at your eyes and feed them to the dog. The voice of her childhood terror evaporated in smoke, only to be replaced by another, more recent voice. Hold still, said the Apocryphy, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you, then we can live forever. No, stop. Don't want to live forever. I want to die right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, that's what you want. The spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, then produced a piece of paper and sketched quickly. After a few seconds, he turned the page to kaine and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It's a picture of her grandmother, real as life. kaine opened her mouth to thank the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, dozens of multi-legged insects began to swarm across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. Stop, no, don't hurt that picture. kaine reached out with the remaining arm and waved futilely at the air. To their surprise, the insects fell off the picture and to the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, kaine turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother as she truly was, a smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. The Apocryphy smiled, then broke into a jolly dance. See that, he cried as he danced his jig. It's perfect now. She looks like you. Cha-cha-cha-cha. Look at that. Oh God, I want to die. I'm gonna die. Drowning in despair, kaine let her hand back in the mud in the smoke of a ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just as she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began to whisper in her ear. Ain't you got a wish, sunshine? The voice was vulgar and fierce at the same time, as if insanity somehow found a way to take form. kaine wanted to scream as the voice crawled under her skin, but her lungs refused to work. You know, a wish. Like a prayer or something. Why don't you get on your knees and start praying to heaven? Please, invisible man in the sky, save me. Save me. kaine finally resorted to shouting at the voice in her mind. I don't make wishes. They don't come true for me. I'm a curse, a freak. I should be left to die. That a voice boomed in her ears. Oh, God, you are the best. kaine glanced down and saw a black, shining substance oozing from her legs. She tried to brush it away, but her remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept around her feet, then began moving up toward the rest of her body. Is this death? Is this what it's like? Is my mind just losing itself? She could feel the slime oozing upward, feeling the hot, searing pain as it left its wake. Whatever else was maybe happening, she was alive, and this was real. Come on, said the voice. Let it go. Kaine tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. Don't ignore me, sunshine. You're ready to give up, ready to die. So why not let me have it? Have what? Your body. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me. I want to stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind. The voice paused as if it was licking its lips. When it resumed, it was filled with a mad, unabated joy. And I want to take your hands and use them to choke the goddamn life out of people. I want to tear out their throats and bathe in the blood, just like before. Response, Kaine shifted her head and vomited. The warmth of it crept down her front and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. Are you a shade? Yeah, maybe one of it. The slime reached her face and crept up past her nose and slowly oozed into the socket of her missing eye. The moment it touched her brain, Kaine was struck by the most powerful sensation she'd ever felt in her life. It was ecstasy. She wanted to scream with delight, but all she could manage was a small, whispered moan. Feels good, don't it? Asked the voice with a chuckle. Yeah, you know what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now give me that body. Come on, give me the body, and I'll give you more of this feeling. It's a fair trade. The black lump began to protrude from Kaine's side. As she watched, it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. I could see better, she thought. The eye must be growing back too. Slime reached up to envelop the rest of her face. She managed to brush it away. Stop, she whispered, marveled how she regained her voice. Stop. The black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request, and quickly shimmered down her body before it disappeared into a cloud of black smoke. What the hell, sunshine? Screamed the voice. We had a deal. I thought you wanted to die. Grandma said, can't die yet. Brief image of her grandma, bloodied and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw the shade that had killed her and heard his mocking laughter, then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. Her whole body was quaking with rage. When she opened her eyes again, they turned bright red. That thing took my grandmother. I have to kill it before I die. Kaine glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern. The pattern of the shades burned itself in her left arm. Well, I'll be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, sunshine. I think you and me are going to be friends now. Kaine stared intently at her arm. The more emotional she felt, the more letters seemed ready to puncture her skin, begin infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop, gotta stop. Holding her left arm in her right, Kaine took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. Hate's my favorite dish, and I'm hungry. Let it go. Feel the anger. Burn with the fire of revenge. Thirst for blood. Then go out there and... Shut up and get the hell out of my body! Your body. Oh, that's rich, sunshine. Real rich. Look, why don't you just up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those buddies of yours in the area would really love to see you dead. Kaine grabbed a nearby shard of glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, her darkened left arm grabbed her wrist, crushing it. Kaine screamed and dropped the shard as the sound of bone crunching on bone filled the air. Stupid idiot girl. You're possessed now, sunshine. And there ain't no going back. The voice laughed again. Loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Whispered Kaine. Yeah, possessed. You and me. We got what you might call a timeshare arrangement. Remember how folks used to think you were a freak? Well, wait till they get a load of you now. Kaine looked up, tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow, darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world? So, listen. Bird the voice. I know this whole position thing seems a bit sudden, but it ain't all bad. there's still plenty in it for you too. I'm a very powerful creature, Sunshine, and now that power belongs to you. You've got enemies, people you want to kill. I can make it happen. That little fat kid who kept picking on you, that big old shade that squashed your granny, oh, we'll wrap them up in their own assholes. No more abuse for you, Sunshine. No more pain. Wait, said Kaine. You're a shade. Why would you help me kill another shade? What? You think I'm some kind of racist? Some killing snob? I don't give a goddamn who you murder, honey pants. I just want a drink from that well. Kaine considered this as she struggled to her feet, the power of the shade coursing through her. The smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind. She enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze felt on her new arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again. So, about it. You and me, we could have some good times together. Look, I'll even take care of the bloody part if you want. Fuck off, asshole, muttered Kaine. I'll handle the killing. Screamed the voice. Look at you go, Sunshine. Oh, we're gonna have so much fun. So listen, my name's Tyran, and if you ever need me, I'll just be hanging out in this piece of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour. And I like rotten and sour. Kaine found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said. I think this can work. I'm gonna find that shade, and I'm gonna strangle it with its own guts. And when I'm done, I'm gonna do the same to you, Tyran. Count on it. Ha! Laughed Tyran. I've shit bigger than you, so good luck with that. Oh, and hey, one more thing right now. You and me are sharing this body. But if you ever run out of hate, if you ever, go soft, then I'm gonna take over everything. So keep on killing, Sunshine, and watch your back. The voice grew fainter and gradually faded away, fading to somewhere deep inside Kaine herself. Kaine waited until she was sure the voice is gone, then waved her new arm around a few times. Feels perfectly normal, she thought. Feels like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at the new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. She didn't want to feel it. To feel normal. That would mean the creature inside of her had already won. I'm not a shade. I'm Kaine. Repeating this mantra in her head, she slowly began digging into the rubble of her own house, being careful to ignore a certain red-stained spot in the corner. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for, the wreath of lunar tears. Though it had been through hell and back, the garland's petals were bright as ever. Kaine started to place it in her hair and slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. Sorry, Grandma, I'm so sorry. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, a freak. And this time, I don't think there's any going back. Holding the flowers to her heart, Kaine fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually lightened to dawn, and the people of the area rose through their daily lives, she remained in that position, as if tears could somehow wash away the horror that now infected her world.
Alive! Stay alive! Stay alive!
Grandma.
Whoo!
Kaine, you gotta live! You gotta come back to us!
If that ain't a good old big ton of information, chat.
Oh, hey.
Whew. Reading hard.
Emil, you were the one calling me, weren't you?
You still recognize me?
Of course. I knew you right away.
Thank you, Kaine.
Welcome back, Kaine.
Wow, you grew up. So, How long has it been?
5 years.
Shit. That's a long time. Any luck with Yona?
We are still no closer to finding her. We need a way to locate the Shadow Lord.
By the way, this is for you.
Is that a lunar tear?
It's not as good as your grandmother's, but I tried.
No, it's great. Thank you.
Kaine waking from her long petrified sleep.
Woo!
Emil's unflagging kindness. Our reunion was a happy one, and we let it wash over us like rain. That is, until Devila and Popola had to go and ruin it all. Are you kidding me? You can't be serious!
Please, try to understand. People are tired and scared, and... I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to bear the brunt of that.
This is crap, and you know it!
It's okay. We can sleep outside.
No one's sleeping outside. You and Kaine saved this village, and now they want to run you out?
People are afraid of us. And really, I understand. I mean, look at me. As long as you're still with us, I can deal with it. Right, Kaine?
I'm used to sleeping outside.
But...
We'll see you later.
Sorry about this.
What is the matter?
Kaine always sleeps outside. I never thought about that until just now. Never even occurred to me. Damn it.
We should turn in.
I didn't get much sleep that night. For the first time in my life, I hated Devila.
Would not be the last.
For the first time in my life, I doubted Popola.
Would not be the last.
But those feelings are pointless in the end. They said and did what they did for the sake of the village. To protect it from the horror of the Shades. Really, how can I blame Devila and Popola?
Easily. Fuck them.
In the end, I'm just as bad. Because I never once stopped to think about Kaine and Emil's situation myself. I should apologize to Kaine and Emil.
You serious, Chet? Hey, Kara, are you there? Oh, this is fucking solid.